What is up, everybody? Breaking news. Davante Adams to the New York Jets dropped yesterday. Welcome in to another episode of the Wide Eye Sports Podcast, dropping every Wednesday, Wide Eye Wednesday. As always, your boy Bryn hosting. We got Riley and Spoon joining us again. Let's just start the show up. What do you guys think of this trade? What do you think of the trade?
I think the New York Jets are currently the New York Circus.
Really?
From
Because
the
I
top.
coined them the New York Packers yesterday, and you seem to like that.
No, you did, but I think they have no direction as a franchise. I kind of think they're grasping for straws. Does the Davante Adams move make them better? I don't think by a substantial margin. I think it does, but I don't think wide receiver was their biggest position of need.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I definitely think that it's like anytime you add Davante Adams to your team, it makes you better. But their issue has been the offense. But Rodgers has been an issue. He has not been living up to prior form. The play calling has been an issue. Now they've given the job over to the former Titans OC and relieved Daniel Hackett of the title of play caller. So that seemed to help a little bit last night against the Bills. Like they looked okay. So we'll see what it looks like with Davante Adams in there. Spoon, what do you think?
I feel like the Jets are kind of just in shambles, starting 2-4 right now. They're trying.
They're the Jets.
That's why I said the Jets.
No, well, I'm saying they're the Jets.
Oh yeah. Well, they've been in shambles for a while, but I feel like what is really hurting them is they're listening to what Rodgers wants, basically, and he's going out the door pretty soon because he's so old. Right?
Yeah,
so
he's
it's
gone next season most likely.
Yeah, so it's like you're doing all these changes just to be good for this 1 year, basically, and then your team's going to be back to ass. It's like that's not how a rebuild works. They're just basically trying to win now. I don't see it working for them very well. And
I mean, just look at the Broncos. The Broncos went all in on Manning, right? Like they went and got Peyton Manning, went all in. That worked right away, right? Peyton Manning comes in, throws for tons of yards, wins MVP, or comes in second to MVP to Adrian Peterson that year. Huge statistical year, gets hurt, has a down year, and then they go to the Super Bowl and win it the third year, right? Like that was like, oh, but you saw it the first year. You're like, oh, dude, this worked right away. They bring in Wes Welker, Demaryius Thomas, like everybody, it was clicking on all cylinders. This is not that.
No,
like
the Jets is not working.
No.
The Jets are laying the blueprint on how not to do it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And
but you also have Rodgers' attitude where y'all saw the comment that he made on Mike Williams. Was that today or yesterday?
Yesterday. So speaking of that, me and Riley are going to be breaking down some Aaron Rodgers film that'll air this Friday. We're going to do a film breakdown. We're going to call it Friday Film Room. So make sure to check into that. We will show you why we think that it's more or less not so much the rest of the offense's fault. It's more so Aaron Rodgers, that he's still Aaron Rodgers, but he's not. He's lost a step, and that counts. That lost step counts, and so it sucks. But the acquisition of Davante Adams isn't going to just magically fix Aaron Rodgers' shortcomings as of late.
Personally, I think instead of Davante Adams, they should have went and got some offensive line help because that's where they're really struggling in.
Yeah,
they need offensive line help. So,
yeah, I agree. Riley, any other closing statements on the Adams trade?
No, I think they gave up too much. They're going to have to pay him too much. I just don't see other than.
Well, there's no guarantee they're even going to keep him. They've said that they're going to discuss future plans this offseason, which basically means if Rodgers decides to come back, I'll come back, and if Rodgers doesn't, peace. So, and you're giving up a guaranteed second with a conditional fourth attached. So,
and if you decide to keep him, I think he's supposed to make like $36 million next year. I mean, he has a huge cap number.
Yeah. So we'll see. But we're going to move on to the regular show as scheduled here. We'll start off with MVP, biggest losers. We'll then hold ourselves accountable and review our offseason predictions for week 6, and then pick the spreads for week 7 and close with news and notes. So let's get into that. My MVP of week 6, Lamar Jackson. Now, let me tell you about old Lamar Jackson this past week. He outpaced the hottest offense in the NFL this week. He had 363 total yards, a touchdown. He did have an interception. Not great, but 363 total yards. 75% of the offense's total yardage came from his legs or his arm. And that's on an offense with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. We lost Riley. Guys, we'll continue here. He's popped back up here. I'll bring him back in. Sorry about that, Riley. We lost.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
But yeah, he's my MVP this week. The defense for Baltimore was not good. They gave up an average of 5.5 yards per play, 108 passer rating against them. All in, just as Lamar said, he just came up a little short. But Lamar was balling too. Okay, so he's my MVP this week. Spoon, who you got?
I'm gonna let Riley go first because I want to know who
Riley
he
you got.
has.
So it pains me to have to do this, but my MVP this week is the Detroit Lions.
I knew somebody was going to do it.
I thought you were going to go elsewhere, but okay.
Yeah, so did I. So did I. I figured Spoon was going to do it.
I'm about to.
To go into Dallas and have such a...
Hold on. Time out before you finish. To go into Dallas.
Oh, they have been crazy at home.
They were last year, yeah.
They were last year, but since that playoff game, they've given up the most points at home in 4 consecutive home games. It's the third most all time. They've given up the third most all time in 4 consecutive home games. This is an all-time bad home stretch for any team ever.
And
so
it is such a 180 from how the last couple of years have gone.
Exactly.
But for Detroit, for all the doubters they have, me included, to just go in and stomp them. I mean,
still me. I'm still doubting. I doubt everything but Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, you're a genius. Everything else about that team, fraudulent.
Except for David Montgomery. He's a G. He'll always have a spot in my heart.
I hate you so much.
No, Detroit just went out and had a great game, and against Dallas, a big spot. I mean,
Dallas had some momentum coming off a win against Pittsburgh. Like you thought, okay, is Dallas going to put it together? And then Detroit just
they were not.
Slams that door shut. Sorry, Spoon. Sorry to do that to you. I hate that for you. But don't worry. We got you. We'll get you this week. We got you. We got your back. So we're gonna get some. We're gonna remind the NFL. We're gonna remind them. But all right, Spoon, your biggest winner. I think I know who it is.
Well, yeah, I thought Riley was gonna pick him. That's why I was letting him go first. But I'm gonna call him out. Caleb Williams.
Oh, not who I thought you were going with.
I'm giving the credit to him. I thought he played excellent. 23 for 29. He didn't throw for a ton of passing yards, but 4 TDs and 1 INT. That's pretty damn good. It's him and Jordan Love. It was between them two, and I decided to go with Caleb just because.
I just want to pick the Bears
because I wanted
back-to-back weeks. I couldn't go. I couldn't be a homer that big. I didn't want to give them 2 biggest winner topics.
I don't care.
About to have
Brenner's gonna have a meltdown, but I really don't care.
Who did you think we were gonna say? Because apparently, me and Spoon were on the same page.
Yeah, I knew who he was.
Yeah, apparently. I'm gonna go in here, and there was a guy this week who played a top 20 defense going into this week and hung up 51 points on them. Anybody know who that Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
Are you ready? I couldn't put Baker in here. Let me tell you why. Because he threw 3 interceptions.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
That wasn't great.
Caleb did play well. Caleb did play well.
I understand, and I totally agree. Baker
played
like 300
excellent. Yards, hung 51 points up on a division opponent, and I'm just waiting for the Baker Mayfield train.
No, but the 3 INTs is what got me.
Okay, fair enough. That's a valid statement. I do want to say that Caleb did play really well. The OC in Chicago has really been able to protect Caleb very well, and they have went back to what they were doing with Justin Fields, except that Caleb is a better passer than Justin. So they're running very simple concepts that Caleb can run very efficiently and be very good with and not overwhelm him, which is what I think you need to do with all rookie quarterbacks. I'm not trying to take away from Caleb when I say that. It's not an indictment on him. You need to do that with all rookie quarterbacks. That's how you should introduce them to the NFL. And it slows the game down for him, makes it easy, and then you start building. Now, if Caleb is still doing this next year, week 5, issue for me. But right now, totally fine. And he's doing it at an elite level. He went in, he smacked the piss out of a bad team like you should. And I think he deserves credit for that. He should have had 5 touchdowns. Now the touchdowns were all shorter, but I'm a big fan of this. Throwing red zone touchdowns is impressive. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're shorter passes." The windows are tighter. Everything gets way tighter in the red zone. And that to me is a good sign for Caleb Williams. Hate to see it for the Minnesota Vikings' sake, but love to see it for the NFL's sake. I would love to see both Caleb. I would love to see all the rookies succeed. Bo Nix included. And if you've watched the show before, you know I'm not a big fan of Bo. So I would love to see all of them.
Are you turning around on him?
Absolutely not. He is even worse than he is check down Charlie doesn't begin to describe what Sean Payton is doing with this kid. Sean Payton he cheated. He cheated to win a Super Bowl, and they didn't take the Super Bowl away from him, and I hate Sean Payton for that. But what he is doing with Bo Nix is extremely impressive. What Bo Nix is doing with his legs whenever the play's not there is extremely impressive. I do think Bo Nix's decision-making was never going to be an issue. It's his ability to throw the football at an NFL level, and he has shown that's not going to be doable. This is borrowed time for Bo Nix. He is not going to be a long-term starter in the NFL. I'm sorry. He just won't. He has shown that he cannot go out there and read plays and go through progressions and make NFL throws consistently. And unless that magically changes, he's not going to succeed. But either way, like I said, I would love to see all the rookie quarterbacks succeed. It's good for the NFL. It's good for the brand. It's good for us. So, yeah. Are you guys ready for the Biggest Losers?
Yeah.
All right.
Mine's pretty fucking easy.
Well, do you just want to get yours out of the way? Do you want to just go ahead and do it?
Sure.
All right, go for it, buddy.
It's Dak Prescott. So, and I know people are going to be like, "Oh, but Spoon, the defense gave up 47 points." I don't care. You have to be able to move the ball to get your defense off the field.
Yeah.
Their defense was on the field like 10 more minutes of playtime. And I'm honestly, that's given them some because the Cowboys had a late garbage time drive that took a lot of possession away from Detroit.
Yeah.
And you can't be doing that. Dak didn't throw a touchdown. They didn't even score a touchdown.
When you make $60 million a year, you have to be able to overcome your team's deficiencies and put the team on your back and just win. Doesn't matter who you're playing against.
And he can't do that. 17 for 33, 178 yards, 2 INTs, no TDs. Dak, I hate that we paid you. I still do. We should have.
What's Dak going to be like as the Carolina Panthers quarterback is what I want to know.
I hope we can get rid of him to Carolina. I just hope I hope they'll take him, but I doubt any team would freaking take him at this point.
All right. My biggest loser this week, the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Man, I feel bad for Raiders fans. Listen, I was going to go to the Raiders game when they played Minnesota last year. It was a 0-3 game. I'm glad I didn't because that would have been super rough to go to.
Out of your mind.
I mean, we would have won, so I'd have been stoked at the end, but that would have been rough to go to. But that stadium, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Terrible Towel invaded that stadium. Like this, it's turning into a LA style thing where when you go and play there, it's basically a slight home game because your fans are, let's go to Vegas and watch the team play.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing. And so they don't have a home field advantage, right? They lost Davante Adams. They don't have a quarterback. Aiden O'Connell's not your future, I promise. And on top of all of that, out of everything that's happened this week, they have the 5th toughest remaining schedule in the NFL this season. Like, they are in for it. We are very likely looking at the home of Shadur Sanders next year.
Really? Okay.
I'm calling it right now. Vegas will finish with the number 1 overall pick. They will have a new head coach. Deion Sanders will be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders and draft his son number 1 overall in the 2025 NFL draft. And he will bring to fruition the claim in which he made where he said, my son will go first or he won't go at all. He will draft his son number 1 overall.
I like that.
Riley, who's your biggest
I don't know that I wouldn't take Travis Hunter and then wait and get your son next pick or try to trade up and get your son.
He said his son will go first overall or his son will not go at all. That is what he said. And that's why I'm saying he'll do it just to make himself right. He'll do it.
Because I think that would be funny if he ended up being the coach and then he gets Shadur and
that'd be wild.
Travis Hunter.
Riley, you got a biggest loser? That would be
Yes.
wild, though, Spoon. That'd be so wild.
We talked a little bit about it on the fantasy podcast, but my biggest loser is the New York Jets, and for so many reasons.
For so many reasons, he says.
You fire your head coach last week with a chance to go in and win the division the next week. And this may be a hot take. I didn't like Saleh. I didn't think Saleh was going to get to the Jets to a Super Bowl. But I think the Jets win that game with Rob Saleh as their head coach. Now you bring in Davante Adams, which will cost you future draft capital and
second round pick,
salary caps. Yeah, and that's
a lot.
Yes,
that's a contributor.
Yeah, on either side of the ball.
And now you're getting, but to be fair, you are getting a contributor back. Like if a wide receiver was your second round pick next year and they turned out to be the level of Davante Adams, you'd be super stoked. But you're also giving up a conditional fourth.
That goes into my next reason as to why they're my biggest loser. If I am Garrett Wilson, I'm sitting there like, guys, what are you doing? I'm the number one here. Why are you bringing in this guy? You think he's better than me? I think that rubs the whole wide receiver room wrong.
I think it'll play out that way long term. I think today they're like, oh yeah, now we're the best receiver room in the league. We're the best duo, and let's go. Let's do this until you go 4 straight games with 3 targets, and then you're like, and you're losing, and you're like, why are you not giving me the ball? You're giving him the ball. Give me the ball.
Like you said, you're losing. I don't think another wide receiver is what the Jets needed. I think they have so many holes they could have traded for or filled that weren't Davante.
Play calling's their issue.
Yes. I think the play calling's been bad. I think the O-line's been shaky at times. I just think there was so many other positions they could have filled besides giving up so much for a older Davante Adams.
And I still think Davante Adams can play at a top 5 wide receiver level for the next year, 2 years. Tell me this, okay? On paper, before the season, did anybody here, other than Riley, for obvious Josh Allen reasons, expect the Bills to be able to go into New York and beat the Jets? Other than Riley.
Other than you.
All right.
Originally, no. I'm pretty positive.
Nobody thought that.
Yeah, I'm pretty
positive.
So the
Jets are underperforming. Jets are underperforming big time right now, right?
Yeah.
Bringing in Davante Adams is not just going to fix all of that.
Yeah.
Now, do they maybe win the game last week if they have Davante Adams established in the system and they're playing all together well? Maybe. That could be a realistic outcome. But Rodgers had 3 passes of over 20 yards, and we'll get more into this on the film breakdown on Friday. Make sure to tune in for that. He had 3 passes of over 20 yards. One was a Hail Mary, 52-yard Hail Mary. Okay. The other 2 were both underthrown. One of them was a miracle completion that was underthrown, that was supposed to be a back shoulder. It ended up at the back hip, almost on the ground. That made it
great
through.
Catch, though.
Yeah, that made it through the linebacker's knee and elbow. Crazy good play. I mean, props to Rodgers still on completing it because it was a miracle. The other one was the wrong route run by Mike Williams. And watch the video breakdown we do. I promise you, you'll watch that and you'll go, did he run the wrong route or did you underthrow it? So we'll get more into that on Friday. We'll go through the whole Aaron Rodgers breakdown of the game this past Monday night. But yeah, absolutely the New York Jets. Are you guys ready to be held accountable for our predictions? So throughout the offseason, if you're new to the channel, we went through and we broke down the NFL schedule week by week by week by week by week. And every week we would sit here on the show, we'd predict games. You know, this one happened to be in the middle of June that we did week 6 breakdown. So, you know, way in advance. We're predicting this before we even know who's starting, who's at training camp, all these things. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on screen now. Add this
seem
to
happy.
the stage.
I feel like we did decent.
8-5. 8-5 this week. That's not bad. That's not bad. I want to get back into double digits. I would really like to get back into the double digits in the wins column, but this isn't bad.
It shows we missed 6, though.
6? Oh, sorry. I didn't have that. Well, either way.
8-6. That's not bad. I'll take it.
I forgot to add the New York Giants or the New York Jets game into that. I counted all these up beforehand and then forgot to add this back into that. So, but either way, 8-6. We went positive. I would like to get back to the 10 wins, but games like Cleveland, super underperforming. Vegas, super underperforming based on offseason expectations. Dallas, super underperforming, right? All the teams, except for maybe Seattle, I think we thought they would win this game because it was at home. Divisional game at home. You can pull those out. Arizona did. Stuff like that happens. But all these other teams that we missed on are criminally underperforming this season. The Jets, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Browns, the Jaguars, right? These are all teams that we assumed would be 9 to 10 win teams, and they're going to be 6 to 9 win teams. So it is what it is, but we got the majority of them right. Any questions, comments, concerns you guys have with this? Anything that you're shocked by? Anything that you want to call out?
If only you guys would have listened about Bears, Jags, and Bills.
Yeah. Riley was the one that called the Bears Jags. I actually said that it would be a home game for the Jaguars because they're playing in London. They play there every year. And this is the point in the show where I'm going to touch on this. Bet Jaguars next week. I promise you it will pay off. They're going to be underdogs. You're going to be like, bet Jaguars. What are you talking? They play back-to-back weeks in London. They beat the Bills. Yeah, and they beat the Bills in London last year on the second leg of their back-to-back in London. I'm telling you, the fact that they're going to be there for 2 straight weeks and already be adjusted, and the Patriots are still going to be adjusting to the time difference.
Yep.
Game changer. Bet the Jags. They will win. Thank me later. You're welcome. Okay. Anyways, I'll talk a little bit more about that when we cover the spreads in the next segment. But anything else you guys want to talk about here?
No.
All right, cool.
I don't think so.
So I'm gonna pull it up then. I'm just gonna pull up the. Nope, that's not it.
Was I the one that picked the Lions over Dallas?
I don't remember. I just remember Riley did pick the Bears in Tottenham Stadium. All right, so we're gonna move on to the segment where we cover every game. We pick the spreads, talk about over-unders, talk about who we would take, and then we give it a 1 to 5-star rating on how confident we are in it. So I'll start off. For example, Denver Broncos at the New Orleans Saints. Denver's getting 2.5 points on the road. I'm going to take Denver in a 1-star. I'm not super confident in this game. Spencer Rattler could pop off for all we know. We still don't really know what he is. Denver could play bad. The Denver defense could play good. I don't know what either of these teams truly are, but on paper, Denver should win this game. Better coaching. Sean Payton kind of knows a little something about the Saints coaching staff. So I think he gets the better of them there. And I'm going to take Denver Broncos -2.5 on a 1-star. Spoon?
So for me, I'm looking at this game and I'm like, okay, 2 offenses that aren't really great or excellent, especially with Spencer Rattler starting. I think Derek Carr would have obviously changed my mind a little bit. But when it comes to defense, the Saints don't have a defense at all, but the Broncos do. Their defense is playing very well, so I'm going to lean Denver here -2.5, and I'm gonna 2-star it because I'm not super confident in it because they are away. But
defense travels, Riley.
Yeah,
man, I just feel like this is screaming Bo Nix 3 interception game. Give me New Orleans.
To be fair, the coaching staff that's in New Orleans is the same nucleus that Sean Payton set up. So they know Payton well, and Payton knows them well. Like, this is in my opinion, if I'm the Saints, I'm getting up for this game because this is a slight to us game. Sean Payton basically said, I can't do anything more with the Saints team. I'm going to retire. And then the Broncos said, well, what about us? And he was like, I could do something with that team. I'll go coach there. So if I'm the Saints, I'm feeling slighted by Sean Payton in this game. And I want to show him, like, you made the wrong move. You should have stayed here and kept us. So New Orleans Saints revenge game, maybe? All right. Well, we'll move on. Wait, Riley, did you give a star rating?
2 stars.
2-star New Orleans. Okay. So next up, we got New England at Jacksonville. I don't know about the spread. I'm going to take the spread 1 star, but look at this. They are favored at -238. All right. That's how, like, Vegas even knows, like, this is a no-brainer. Put the pink slip on this, put the house on this, put it all on the Jaguars to win this game. I guarantee you they will win. Guaranteed. 5-star money line, 1-star spread.
So the Patriots just haven't shown anything that interests me all season. The Jags haven't really either, but with them having that advantage, I'm going to go ahead and take the spread, and I'm going to 3-star the spread. I think they easily win by a touchdown, possibly more.
Riley?
Jacksonville just got shit on by a rookie quarterback in London. I think the Patriots could be sneaky in this, especially at 5.5. Give me New England in a 2-star.
Are you taking New England to win too, or are you just taking them to cover the spread?
I would take New England to win in a 1-star. To cover the spread, 2 stars.
Wild. I guarantee you, Jacksonville beat Josh Allen last year in Buffalo because they were playing on the second straight week.
Jacksonville was also not supposed to be 1-5 right now. Let's also
I don't
throw
disagree.
that out there.
I don't disagree with that, but this is not about who they are as a team. This is about traveling halfway across the planet. That's what this is about. So we'll move on. Detroit Lions at Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking Minnesota Vikings 5-star.
Okay.
So hear me out. Hear me out. And I know that's like, oh, you're a Vikings fan. Like, I think I can speak pretty openly here that I am about as cautious of a Vikings fan as there is. That I don't get overly cocky very often. And I don't like who was I telling you guys that the Vikings were going to be 5-0 and we were going to buzzsaw everybody? Did I ever say that? No. I'm a pretty realistic guy. I knew that we were going to be fighting, for maybe a wild card spot by the end of the season. I didn't see this coming. Let me tell you, Nick Mullins put up 400 yards on this offense or on this defense 8 months ago. Like, this is a divisional game. We're playing great ball. Detroit's playing great ball too. They have not beat a winning team yet. They have not beaten a team with a winning record yet, and they're about to run into Minnesota at Minnesota. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be probably a 3 to 6 point game in Minnesota's favor. It's going to be a close one. It's going to come down to the wire, but it's going to be more than a 2-point game. Minnesota -2, 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit plus 2.5 at a 2-star. I'm not super confident in it, but I think the Detroit Lions offense is just a little bit better than the Vikings offense, and Brenner's going to hate me for saying that.
How can you? I want to know how you can say that.
Rushing. I think the rushing attack is a little better.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. They have more talent, but
I think quarterbacks are a draw. Receivers go to Minnesota.
I give Jared Goff just a slight edge.
I would give Jared Goff the edge on that. I'd give Jared Goff the edge. I would give their running back room the edge, and I would give their interior D-line the edge. But TJ Hawkinson's back, so we get tight end. I think Hawkinson's better than Laporta. Laporta had one good season, has not done anything in 5 weeks. TJ Hawkinson has had an all-pro career so far. TJ Hawkinson gets that edge. Laporta's had one good season. How is it? Argue it then.
No, Laporta has had like 2 good games this year.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise, I don't know what numbers he's spitting out.
And Hawkinson's a better blocker. So Minnesota gets tight end. We're deeper at tight end too. We have Josh Oliver. We have Johnny Munt. Okay. Tight end goes to Minnesota. Receiver goes to Minnesota. And then tackles go to Minnesota. Now, they do have Penei Sewell in Detroit, but that's a right tackle. We have 2 top 5 tackles at their position, left and right. And then the defense goes to Minnesota by a mile. I don't know.
I think both defenses struggle with their secondary a little bit, but both defenses are excellent at stopping the run. So I would
Vikings are top 5 in yards per pass attempt. Now, teams have been down 30 points a game on us, so they have to throw it 40 times a game. So when you give up 5 yards, a little 5-yard dump off 40 times, it adds up.
But Minnesota, I think, is second in the league in takeaways right now.
Yeah.
I think it went Packers, Vikings, Bears.
Yeah. Minnesota's defense is giving up a lot of yards on paper, but that's because we're up and teams are throwing 5-yard dump offs for 9 yards a carry when they're down 25 points in the third quarter. I'm telling you, these defenses are not close. And I could be it's a divisional game. We could get fucking bitch slapped for all I know. But this should not.
I just
don't.
I don't think you taking the Vikings at a 5-star though. I think that's a little
At 2
a little
points.
out there.
At 2
That's
points,
a little out there.
It's a 2 points.
It's basically a pick 'em. I get that.
Yeah, exactly. So
but I'm not confident in picking either one of them. It's up in the air. I mean, Detroit has a chance. Minnesota.
If we were
has a
in
chance.
Detroit, I would be 5-starring Detroit, but because we're in Minnesota, I'm 5-starring Minnesota. Like it's the home field thing for me. Like them playing here.
U.S. Bank is something else. I mean,
Riley's been there several times.
Like, it's the definition of a home field advantage.
I mean, I'll put it this way: C.J. Stroud in the Texans offense had 3 consecutive false start penalties on one drive because the crowd was so loud.
Yeah.
So like, it's
I would take Minnesota in a 2-star, but I would also hammer the over on this game.
The over. I'm taking the under on this game. I think this is a 24-21 ball game all day. Divisional game. Both defenses are good. They're going to run the ball a lot.
That's what I understand that part of it, but I think both offenses are just rolling. I think it'll be like a 34-30 game.
We'll see. Let's move on to Houston Texans at Green Bay Packers. We spent way too much time on that. I apologize for ranting. Houston Texans at Green Bay Packers. I'm taking the Houston Texans in a 3-star. Spoon?
I'm leaning towards the Packers here. I think I'm going to take them at a 2-star.
Riley?
I am leaning towards Houston just because I still don't know what Jordan Love I'm going to get.
We know what Jordan Love is Brett Favre reincarnated. That's the Jordan Love we're going to get.
I am not going to risk putting my money on Brett Favre.
That's fair.
I take Houston.
I do want to bring up one real. Actually, I'll save it for the top 10. We're going to go over the top 10 after this. I'll save it for that. I would like to say that 3 points is generally what they give the home team. So this is basically Vegas saying if it was a neutral game, it would be a pick 'em. And I think Houston would be favored in a neutral site game because Houston's a better team. So I take Houston based off of that. I think this is more points than the Packers deserve, and I think Houston will make them pay for that. And I'm taking Houston +3. Seattle at Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta -3 and a 4-star here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to take them as a 4-star as well.
Seattle's defense is still banged up. I mean, they just lost at home to the Giants and the Niners. They have had 10 days of rest at this point when they play this game, but traveling all the way to the East Coast for a game, early game, that is an early game for them.
The last couple of weeks too, I've been noticing that it seems like Atlanta's offense is starting to click a little more now with Kirk in there. So
And you saw what Tyrone Tracy did. What are Bijan and Tyler Algier going to do to this offense or this defense? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Riley,
what do you think?
I'd take Atlanta in a 4-star.
All of us.
yeah, Atlanta 4-star. All right. Philadelphia at New York. I'm taking Philly in a -3. Excuse me. But I'm only going to 2-star this. I don't like Philly. I feel like this is a Giants team that is very capable of beating the Philadelphia Eagles. So on paper, Philadelphia should dominate this game. Nick Sirianni has been bad this year, and so I'm going to take the Eagles, but only in a 2-star.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles as well, but I'm going to 3-star it. I think that they are at least a touchdown better than the Giants, so they should easily be able to cover that spread.
I agree on paper they are, but Sirianni is garbage this year. So, Riley?
Yeah, I'm going to take Philly in a 4-star.
Okay.
All right.
I just think
2, 3, 4.
You keep saying on paper. I just think on paper there's so much worlds apart. I think it's more than
I agree. I think coaching matters though, and Sirianni's an absolute joke. They barely beat the Browns. Like this team is 14 points better than the Browns on paper, and they barely beat the Browns.
But I can name 4 players on the Browns that are better than any player on the Giants right now.
That is fair.
But the offense for the Giants is playing better than the Browns, and the defenses are playing about on the same level. So I get it. Name recognition on paper, all these things. Like I said, on paper, the Eagles are a better team. We're not playing on paper. We're playing on the football field. All right, Tennessee at Buffalo. I am gonna take Tennessee at a 2-star. I think Buffalo is gonna be exhausted from a tough divisional game, and they're gonna be trying to get Amari Cooper in. That's gonna lead to some offensive struggles early. Be a close game. They win by a touchdown in the end, probably in a 17-24 game, and I'll probably off a late Will Levis interception.
Well, the Buffalo's had a tough 2 weeks. They played Houston and then the tough division game against the Jets.
Yeah,
This is definitely a game where I see Buffalo is kind of looking ahead. They're just like, it's the Titans. So Buffalo's definitely going to win, but by 9 points, I don't know. I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean towards Tennessee +9 here as well, but I'm only going to 2-star it.
That's fair. Riley?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tennessee in a 1-star. That spread's just too much for me.
Yeah, it's 9 points in the NFL is a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge spread to be putting money on anyways.
Yeah. To be betting that the Buffalo Bills are going to, after 2 tough weeks, just going to go roll a team, that's a lot for me. I don't know if the Titans, are they coming off a bye, or did they play last week?
They played the Colts last week.
They played the Colts. Thank you. Who are also coming off a tough divisional game, so who knows? Cincinnati at Cleveland. I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals -6.5 and a 3-star. I think this offense is rolling at a top 5 level. This defense is playing at a bottom 10 level, but so is the Browns offense. So that's basically a wash. And the Cleveland Brown defense is not the same as it was last year. Divisional game that I think the Bengals win somewhere like 32-17.
That's fair. Well, we compared Cleveland to New York. Cincinnati just played New York, beat them by like 10 points. This is a division game though. Are they a touchdown better than Cleveland? Absolutely. Cincinnati's offense is just like you said, they're rolling. They're hot right now.
Rolling.
I'm gonna take the Bengals spread as well, but I'm only gonna 1-star it because I don't love it at all.
See, I think division games are usually either really close or really far apart, and I think this is going to be one of those that isn't close. Riley?
I'm going to take the Browns in a 1-star. I just don't.
Rough.
Cincinnati.
Just can't let Deshaun Watson go, can you? Just can't let him go.
It has nothing to do with Deshaun.
Got to force the happy ending.
But I just can't trust Cincinnati to win by that much. Every game they're in has been offense. Close. Yeah.
I can't.
They'll come in and score 40 points, and then the next week they'll score 14. I mean.
All right. Well, Miami at Indy. I'm going to take Indy -3 and a 2-star. Spoon?
Yeah, I'm probably going to do that as well. Miami's offense is still just
got Snoop Huntley playing quarterback, so
yeah, it's not looking great. I'm going to 4-star this though.
Negative.
I like the Colts -3.5 and a 4-star.
Riley?
Is this? And you may have already said it. Is it in Miami or is it in Indy?
Yeah. So it's Miami at Indianapolis.
Yep.
Okay.
Bottom team's home.
Then give me Indy in a 4-star.
Okay. All right. Carolina at Washington -7.5. I'm gonna speak for the group here. Washington 5 stars. This offense is unbelievable, and Andy Dalton is not going to roll in there and just put up 34 points. And the Washington Commanders are definitely putting up 30 points in this game. I'm taking Washington Command. I mean, the Washington's capable of hitting this over by themselves in this game. It is going to be a bloodbath for the Carolina Panthers. They should not show up. I've never been a fan of tanking. They should not show up for this game.
I was either going to 4-star or 5-star this, so I'm confident with whatever you just said. Yeah. 5-star.
Yeah. Riley?
Confident with that.
Oh, hammer.
Cool. Love it.
Hammer.
Now here's a game. Here's a game between 2 struggle busing teams.
Yeah.
Now here's a game
that when they go out on the football field, they're just gonna play football, and you gotta love it when they get out there and they line up, offense and defense, and they snap the ball. The quarterback throws it, and a wide receiver catches it for a first. I mean, that is football to the teeth. I hate Chris Collinsworth so much. That's how he calls every game, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he's so good," and I'm like, What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He just stated the obvious of what
It's the
he's been.
same lines, just insert team,
Yeah,
insert player name.
Ah, tell me something intellectual about the game, please. All right. So the new ownership, Las Vegas Raiders. Tom Brady approved ownership today. Don't know how that's going to work out for his TV deal. But Las Vegas at LA. I'm seeing a rough game for both teams here. Cooper Kupp likely to be back in this game, but yeah. I'm gonna 0-star the Rams here. I'm gonna 0-star the Rams. I
I
don't
was
like 6.5 points against that Raiders defense, even if they're not
No.
playing as well as we thought they were. But I don't like plus 6.5 for that Raiders offense. Like
I
0
was
stars.
I
Rams.
was gonna go with the Rams, and I was only gonna 1-star it. So
Ugh, Rams 0
didn't know-
stars for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna 1-star it.
Riley?
I'll give it to the Rams in a 3-star. I think Matthew Stafford makes a touchdown difference between the Rams and Raiders.
You guys want to hear
Okay.
crazy? You guys want to hear something crazy?
What?
I'm going to the Vikings Rams game on next Thursday Night Football. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And that game scares me more than the Lions game because we'll be coming off a short week traveling in a tough game against Detroit. Detroit's going to beat the shit out of you. And then we have to short week it to go against the Rams who get to play the Raiders. That game scares me. And I'll be at that game, which scares me even more. Kansas City Chiefs at San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take the Chiefs +1 in the Super Bowl rematch at a 1-star because I definitely think the Niners could get up for this game. I'm not confident in either side, really. The Chiefs are 5-0, but they look like a sketchy 5-0. They've been in a lot of one-score games. So
Yeah.
Spoon?
Yeah, it's just a pick 'em, basically. I'm going to
Yeah.
lean towards the Chiefs just because the 49ers aren't 100% healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take them, but I'm only going to 1-star it because honestly, I don't know. The Niners could easily win this game.
Yeah. Riley?
Yeah. Man. I'll go with the undefeated team. Give me the Chiefs in a 1-star.
Yeah,
I can see this game going.
Don't put money on this game.
Yeah, do not
Don't
put
put
your money on this unless you're a fan of one of the teams.
Also,
Stay
don't put
away
your
from
money on
that.
this next game either.
No, not at all.
I mean, I'm going to take the Jets -1.5 just because I think the Steelers are Actually, Russ is starting this week. Breaking news. If you haven't heard that yet, Russ is scheduled to start for the Steelers this week. Justin Fields was benched, not officially benched, but they released a statement saying that Russell Wilson would be taking the majority of the snaps with the first team this week, and he is scheduled to start the game against the Jets this weekend. I know a lot of people are surprised by that. I was not. Yeah, Russ is the better quarterback, and if the Steelers offense was humming on all cylinders and Justin Fields was throwing for 300 yards every week, yeah, I get it. The hot hand, you keep him in, but they're 1-2 in their last 3 games. Fields has had one good game out of those 3. Including a loss at home to Dallas. Like, I think this is the right move. Russell Wilson gives you a better thrower of the football, which in this offense is what you need. It's built very similar to those early 2010 Seahawks offenses. You have the perimeter guys who win one-on-one on the outside with a good run game. So I think Russ, fits in that scheme very well. I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 2-star.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. No, not the Steelers. My bad. I'm taking the Jets, actually. I think the Steelers are a little fraudulent. I knew you were going to say that, but you stopped yourself. They're good, but they are a little fraudulent 4-2.
I think
easily
it's
be worse.
I think it's the new quarterback thing. They don't know,
Yeah.
like that. They won't have film on Russ, and I think that will play a big part. It'll be halftime before they can make real adjustments against Russ, and at that point, it might be a 21-7 ball game.
Yeah, I think the Jets are going to play a little. They're going to. I don't know.
This is
just a toss up. I really can't say
Yeah.
which one, so I'm going to pick the Jets in a 1-star. I don't like either. I don't like going either way. Honestly.
To the film point, they don't have film with Davante Adams in the offense, so it's basically a pick 'em in my book, and I like the Steelers at home to bounce back after a rough couple weeks. Riley, what do you think?
Man, I'm going to 3-star the Jets. I think Russ has 2 picks by halftime. The fans
Justin
are
Fields
yelling.
and he just can't let Justin Fields go.
The fans will be yelling for Fields by the fourth quarter.
0% chance.
Oh, hey, I'm telling the people to put their money on it.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't.
No evidence that Russell Wilson is the savior for Pittsburgh.
He's not the savior. Hold on. I'm not saying he's a savior. I'm saying he's a better thrower of the football than Justin Fields. He can go out there, read a defense in real time, make progressions, and throw the ball. Justin Fields has to have plays called for him to be able to do those things. Russell Wilson does not.
What is Russ going to do when he doesn't have time to wait for someone to get open?
Hit his check down. Hit his check down because he will know where his check down is, and he will know that the blitz is coming.
We'll see.
I'm just telling you, like Russell Wilson is a full-blown quarterback, whereas Justin Fields is a playmaker. I think they should have packages for Justin Fields to get in the game.
Russell Wilson was a quarterback.
He still is
getting paid millions to be on a different team.
Sean Payton, this is what blows my mind about Sean Payton. Sean Payton changed his whole offense so that Bo Nix could be successful in it, yet he refused to do that for Russell Wilson, and I don't understand why. Like, he brought Russell Wilson came in, and Sean Payton's like, you run my offense. And Russ is like, okay, I'll try. And he did it pretty well, but he didn't do it to Sean Payton's liking. Like, he wanted to tweak stuff. And so they got rid of him. And then Bo Nix comes in, and Payton's like, yeah, I'll just change whatever you want. And I'm like, huh? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But anyways, let's move on to the Monday night doubleheader. Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 3.5. They're saying that essentially Baltimore on a neutral site is 6.5 points better than Tampa Bay. I don't like that. Give me Tampa Bay plus 3.5, 2 stars. Spoon.
Yeah, I'm taking Tampa Bay in a 3-star.
Riley?
Give me Baltimore in a 3-star. I know we've been talking a lot about Baker and how good of a season he's been, but I like Baltimore being able to control the ball, control the clock a little more than Tampa's.
Fair enough. All right. And finally, last and certainly least, actually, the LA Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know who I hate more in this game. LA's defenses look good. Their offense, running the ball, controlling clock. They're playing Jim Harbaugh's brand of football, but Arizona can be explosive, especially at home. They already beat the Niners. Give me Arizona plus 2.5 at home and a 1-star.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona at a 2-star here.
Give me the Chargers and a 1-star.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it for that. We have now predicted the entire Week 7 slate, so you know where to go put your money. Like, just listen to us. We're gurus and we know everything. So never been wrong ever, except for the one time we were wrong. So, that is what it is. So you guys ready to see the top 10? Reveal the top 10 from this past week.
I'm curious if the Cowboys made it again.
No.
I did not put them last week.
No,
Swear to God.
No,
I did not.
I know you didn't.
Just to all the
Riley.
people. All the people
Riley
watching, I did not.
Riley did, and it did not work out well. So let me pull it up here. All right. Do we have any predictions? Is there any predictions? Any predictions you guys want to make? Any predictions we want to make? Risers, fallers.
Chiefs at 1, Vikings
okay,
at 2.
well, I mean, risers and fallers. That's what we've had for the past 8 weeks. Anything special you guys want to call it before I throw it up on the screen? Any hot takes before I throw it up? Nope.
Is there any
Buffalo better be on there this week?
Is there any new teams on the list? How many new teams are on the list?
There are new teams on the list.
How many?
The Buccaneers are one of them.
Guess we'll find out in 3, 2. Here is the top 10 from this week. Zoom in a little bit for you. So we got Kansas City at 1, Minnesota at 2, Detroit jumps up to 3. This is like the 3rd or 4th time this year Minnesota is playing a top 5 power ranking team. Like, we played the Niners. We booted them out of the top 5. We played the Texans. They're back into the top 5. We played the Packers. And when we played the Packers, we went on this show and we were like, is this like the best 2 teams in the NFC right now? Yeah, probably. And we beat the Packers. So we're about to go at it again. So hopefully the Vikings come out on top. I think they can. I think they will. But, divisional games, weird shit happens all the time. It's going to be a tough game either way. I'm not saying we're going to go out there and win by 40 by any means. So then Houston at 4, Baltimore jumps in at 5, Washington up to 6, obviously right below Baltimore, Great game by these two last week. Buffalo just behind Washington in the points. Tampa Bay at 8. The Atlanta Falcons coming in at 9. The Green Bay Packers coming in at 10 on a tiebreaker. And then you got the Steelers ahead of them, Bears, and then the Eagles. So any shockers, anything you guys were truly surprised here?
I didn't think the Bucks would be at 8. I figured
10.
What was that?
The Packers.
Packers at 10?
Yeah, Packers at 10.
I mean, somebody had the Bears on their list.
I put them at 10.
Yeah.
I was not going to be the
But you're
reason
surprised
they
the
were on
Bears are on this list, but the team who is above them in the actual standings.
I think the Bears beat Philly, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Atlanta, maybe Tampa.
Okay, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, Riley. Every team the Bears have beaten this season has each won a single game. They're all 1-4.
Yeah, they don't. They haven't played tough teams.
Lost
That's why I couldn't
to
put
the
the Bears up.
Texans by what, 4 points, and they're 4th on the list.
Hey, I'm not.
Yeah, but your wins are against Tennessee, the Rams, the Panthers.
Hold on,
and the
Riley.
Giants.
By that standard,
one game where we got blown out.
I mean, by that standard, Riley, the Chiefs have had almost all one-score games, and the Vikings have been blowing the doors off of teams on this list. So why are they not? But why are they not? Why did you not put them at 1 then?
Because I think if they played tomorrow, the Chiefs win.
No, they don't. I would. Oh, God.
Why did you not put them at 1?
I did. They've been at 1 for me for weeks. I did. They've been at 1 for me for weeks, and you guys keep putting them at 2.
I guess I do not see your list.
Yeah.
That was not me.
Yeah. I've been putting them at 1 for 4 weeks.
I think they're realistically probably outside the top 10, but I think they're right there.
Bears are absolutely a fringe top 10 team and could be considered number 10, but I think it's wild that you're like the Packers at 10. That's wild because the Packers are, if they played tomorrow, would be favored against the Bears.
I don't care who's favored. I care who wins.
But that's the thing.
You guys had Jacksonville winning 3-1 against the Bears in London.
We've been wrong before. We've been wrong before.
Yeah,
I'm not claiming that we were
wrong once.
That one time, remember when we were wrong that one time? But this is our top 10. This will be posted on the Instagram shortly. Thank you to Tier Maker for allowing me to use your site. I didn't ask, but they allow it still. I was really surprised more by Philly making it in here. If you don't know the rules, any team that gets a vote and doesn't make the top 10 makes it into the bubble teams. So Philly got a vote.
The Eagles got 1 vote, right?
They did get 1 vote. They did get 1 singular vote. Packers had 2 points as well as the Steelers, and they have the tiebreaker over the Steelers, so that's what gets them in. The Bears also had 1 point, and the Eagles had 1 point, but the Bears have a better record, so they are in front of the Eagles. So that is the top 10. Screenshot it. Send us your hot takes on it. It'll be on our Instagram later this week at Wide Eye Sports on Instagram and X. So you guys ready to close out the show on a little note here? I got some news and notes.
Yeah.
All right, let me flip on my actual notepad, like not on my computer.
The real deal notes.
Yeah, so we just have one thing to talk about. So as I stated on the fantasy episode, Vikings trade for Cam Akers, not a huge deal. Seahawks traded for a D lineman from the Jags, not a huge deal. But there was one other big trade that happened this week, and that is Amari Cooper to the Bills. Riley, take it away.
Oh, I love this move for Buffalo. I think this takes some pressure off of Keon Coleman and Shakir. They're 2 young guys trying to develop, give someone who can produce and take a load off of those 2 while they develop into better receivers.
Yeah.
Give someone a little more reliable for Josh Allen to throw the ball to. I think it was a great move by Buffalo.
Spoon?
No, I love the move. Josh Allen obviously needs a clear-cut number 1 receiver to throw the ball to, and Amari Cooper can still be that guy. I know he's a little older. He's obviously worn down a little more, but I mean, he's still got a little bit of gas left. So I'm excited to see what him and Josh Allen have.
So you guys didn't mention this, but this trade helps one person specifically massively, and they're already having a good season. They were banged up this week, but he's already having a good season. And this trade is going to open up so much
for James Cook.
James Cook, in fact. I mean, this kid's already balling out. shout out Cook family, Dalvin Cook, former Minnesota Viking, love him. And James Cook is looking every bit as good as Dalvin did in his prime. So, I mean, now you have a certifiable threat on the outside again that Diggs was last year. Now you have Amari Cooper. And as Riley just said, he can be that number one. He can be a true number one receiver. And I mean, that only opens things up for James Cook more. Or if they just want to key in on James still, Amari's going to eat. So I love this move. This is kind of a sleeper wide receiver one, if that makes sense. Like
Yes.
Amari's been criminally underrated since he left Oakland. Like when he was in Dallas, he wasn't looked at as like a top 10 receiver. When he was in Cleveland, he was never looked at. But when he was early in his career with Oakland, he was kind of looked at, oh, this guy could be a top 10 guy in the league. And I think he is a top 5 route runner, no question. Guys like him, Diggs, Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, those guys are elite at route running, and he will get open. It's kind of the ageless type effect, right? You don't have to be young and super athletic to be a great route runner. And that's what guys like going all the way back, Chris Carter, Jerry Rice, that's why they were so legendary and so good. And I'm not comparing Amari to those guys directly, just in their route running ability. Obviously, Chris Carter and Jerry Rice are two of the greatest receivers ever. And Amari's not that, but he is a fantastic route runner. So I think he can still win. I think he can win for another 1 to 2 years. And I think this is an absolute steal for the Bills. And I think that they are going to run away with this division from here on out, just because Miami isn't going to get Tua back next week. I think he's eligible to return the week after next, but who knows if he comes back. The Jets are going to be playing catch up. They're already down to 2-4 and have division games down. So that's just a nasty situation. Anybody else got anything they want to add?
I don't think so.
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, make sure to check out our brand new series, The Film Breakdown, coming this Friday. We're going to be breaking down the Aaron Rodgers Monday night performance. We'll let you know what we see, what we think, and we'll go over all that plus a little more. So thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you all next time.
See ya.
See ya.